played and organized worldwide. We'll be discussing on different games today, giving you a brief idea of each game, and in the future classes, then explaining you in details regarding the rules, regulation, and its functions. Okay, so we go to the first game. It is a game played especially in the US by two teams of 9 players using a bat and a ball. Each player try to hit the ball and then run around 4 bases before the other team can return the ball. So this is a game known as baseball. In baseball you have two teams. One, you have a team who bats and the other team who fields. And the team which fields, there is a individual who is known as a pitcher. So he throws the ball to the person who is batting on the other end. The person who is batting, he hits the ball and tries to run and tries to complete the 4 bases. So once he completes the 4 bases, he completes one run. So that is how runs are scored in baseball. So it has been governed by the World Baseball Softball Confederation. It was played in the 18th century in England, and then it moved to in 19th century it moved to United States with what they have, the modern version of baseball. It has been played worldwide, but mostly it has been played in America and East Asia. The next game which we would be discussing is a game played by two teams of 5 players using a large ball which players try to throw into high net hanging from a ring. Yes, boys, this is basketball. You might have seen this basketball in the school compound, the net and the basketball court. So, and what happens is in these two teams, most commonly 5 players each in each team, in the opposite team. Each each team tries to score a basket which is 10 feet high. On the blackboard is a ring, right? You might have seen that in the school compound. You have the basketball ring. So they try to score from the D or from anywhere in the court. So if you score from the D, it's 2 points. If you score from outside, it's 3 points. So it has been governed by FIBA and it was played in December 21st, 1890. The first game was played on December 21st, 1891. That was 120 years ago, and it has been played worldwide. The next sports to be discussed is Formula One. This is racing cars known as auto racing, also known as car racing, motor racing, or automobile racing. A motorsports involving the racing of automobiles for competition. This invention of automobiles, the auto racing has existed since the invention of automobiles. Races of various sorts were organized, with the first recorded as early as in the year 1867. Many of the early events were effectively reliability trials aimed at proving these new machines were a practical mode of transport, but soon became an important way of competing makers to demonstrate their machines. By the 1930s, especially racing cars had developed, like companies like Ford, Ferrari, Fiat, they promoted this racing cars. It has been governed by FIA, and the first competition was promoted in the year 1867 in the month of August. The next game which we will discuss is diving. Now, the sports of activity or activity of diving into the water with head and arms first. You might have come across when you visit a swimming pool, or when you go for scuba diving. So you might have seen the people diving in the deep water. So diving, the sports of jumping into deep water. What is diving? It is a sports of jumping into deep water. So underwater diving, human activity underwater for recreation or occupation purposes. Support sports diving, competitive scuba diving using recreational techniques in swimming pool. So the next sports we come across is bicycle. Cycling, which is also known as bicycling or biking, is the use of bicycle for transport. Biking is a use of bicycle for transport, recreation, exercise, sports. So people engaged in cycling are referred as, they're known as cyclists or bikers. Apart from two-wheeled bicycles, cycling also includes the riding of unicycles, tricycles, quadricycles. Then the history of cycling was introduced in 19th century. Then it quickly became an activity. Today, over 50% of the human population know how to ride a bike. The next sports which I introduce to you is American football. All these sports you might be not familiar with, but just to get a just idea and to know more about it, that's the reason I have introduced this sports, different sports to you. American football, it was evolved in uh, United States of America, originating from the sports of soccer and rugby. You know what is soccer, football. Thus, the first American football match was played on November 6, 1869, between two college teams, using rules based on rules of soccer at that time. Then the set of rules changed drawn from 1880 onwards by Walter Camp, and he is known as the father of American football. Established the snap and the line of scrimmage, 11 players team, and concept of downs. So who laid the rules was Walter Camp, which he is also known as the father of American football, and it is governed by International Federation of American Football, and it has been played worldwide. So the next sports which we would discuss is ice hockey, a game played on ice by two teams of 11 players with curved sticks and a small hard ball which is known as puck. Teams try to hit the ball into the other team's goal. It is known as ice hockey. Now, ice hockey is a contact team sports played on ice, usually in a ring in which two teams of skaters use their sticks to shoot a rubber puck into their opponent net to score goals. The sport is very fast and physical, with teams usually field 6 players at a time and one in a goaltender, and 5 players who skate the span of ice trying to control the puck and score goals against the opposing team. So the stick is the curved stick, and whatever the black dot, what you see, the black rubber is known as puck. So it is played mostly in Canada, Central and Eastern Europe, and in Nordic countries, Russia and United States, especially where it is snowing. So ice hockey is officially national winter sports of Canada. The highest governing body for ice hockey is International Ice Hockey Federation. Now this ice hockey has been played in hockey rink or arena and is sometimes played even on a frozen lake or pond for recreation. So the next sports which we discuss is physical exercises that develop and show the body strength and ability to move and bend easily, often done as a sports and competition. Now we are talking about gymnastics. Now gymnastics is a sport that includes physical exercise requiring balance, strength, flexibility, agility, coordination and endurance. The movement involved in gymnastics contributes to the development of arms, legs, shoulders, back, chest and abdominal muscles group. You need to be alert, precision, very daring, self-confidence and self-discipline are mental traits that can also be developed through gymnastics evolved from exercise used by ancient Greeks. Greeks that included skills for mounting and dismounting a horse and from circus performance exercise. Now, the most common form of competitive gymnastic in the recent is, which consists for women, is the event floor, the vault, uneven bars, beam. For men, it consists of event floors, vaults, rings, pommel horse, parallel bars, horizontal bars. And the governing body for gymnastics is Federation International de Gymnastique. Eight bodies, eight sports are governed by Federation International Gymnastic, which includes gymnastic for all men and women, artistic gymnastic, rhythmic gymnastic, including double trampoline, tumbling, aerobatics, and aerobic discipline, disciplines not currently recognized by the Federation International Gymnastic. Includes wheel gymnastic, athletic group gymnastic, men rhythmic gymnastic team, and Malakamba. Participation in gymnastic relates sports and includes young children, recreational level athletics, and competitive athletics at varying levels of skills, including world class athletics. So, the next game, sports we would be discussing is a game in which two or four players use rackets to hit a ball backwards and forwards across a net on a special marked court. So we are discussing about and we get to know about tennis. Now, what is tennis? It is an Olympic game and is played at all levels of society and at all ages. This sport can be played by anyone who can hold a racket, including wheelchair users. The modern game of tennis, it originated in Birmingham in England in the late 19th century, which is known as lawn tennis. It had close connections both to various fields. Lawn games such as croquet and bowls, as well as to the older racket sports today called real tennis. During most of the 19th century, in fact, the term tennis referred to real tennis, not lawn tennis. Today, tennis has been played by millions of recreational players and is also popular worldwide spectator sports. The four Grand Slam tournaments, also referred to as majors. There are four Grand Slam tournaments. They're known as majors. The first one, which is especially popular, are Australian Open, which is played on hard court in Australia. Then the French Open, which is played on clay. It's been played in France in the month of May. Australia Open has been played in January. Then Wimbledon is played on grass. It's been played in month of June. And US Open is been played on hard court again. That has been in the month of August. And the last game to be discussed is the most popular game, a game played by 11 players using a round ball, which players kick up and down the playing field. Teams try to kick the ball into the other team's goal. So, any guesses, boys? So, we are talking about soccer, which you all know is football. So, the most popular game is also known as association football, most commonly known as football or soccer. Is a team sports played with a spherical, is a round ball, which the shape of the football, between two teams of 11 players each on both the sides. It is approximately 250 million players in 200 countries and dependency, making it the world's most popular sports. The game is played on a rectangular field called a pitch with the goals at each end. The object of the goal is to score in the opponent's half. It is also played in accordance with a set of rules which you have the rule book name as laws of the game. The ball is 68 to 70 centimeters in circumference and also known as a football. The two teams each compete to get the ball in the other team's goal between the post and the bar, then by scoring a goal. The team that scores most goals at the end of the game is a winner. You all know that. If both have scored an equal number of goals, then the game is draw and each team is led by a captain who has only one official responsible and mandate of the laws of the game to carry out with the penalty kicks. So we have discussed about baseball, basketball, auto racing, diving, cycling, American football, ice hockey, gymnastics, tennis and football. So we would be in detailing discussing about these games, about their rules and regulations, about the history, about the sporting personalities in the future classes. Thank you, boys. Have a nice day.